Okay. The Virtual Access for All project is a 5-year project funded by Employment and Social Development Canada's Support for Student Learning Program. The Virtual Access for All project supports disabled students to successfully navigate transition to post-secondary education. Since the beginning of this project in 2021, we have been connecting students with existing mentoring opportunities and resources, offered webinars on various topics related to accessibility, expanded our National Student Award program, and funded our Accessibility Resilience program. Disabled students often experience systemic barriers to education, which makes it more challenging for them to complete their education and may cause them to graduate with more debt. Projects such as this one play an important role in ensuring disabled students can successfully complete their studies and be a part of an inclusive economic recovery for everyone. NEADS has received an upward amendment on this project to continue the initiative until the end of March 2025. And that is all for Virtual Access for All. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adela. And Adela, of course, is the NEADS Researcher and a very important member of our team. We appreciate your opening comments there on access needs and the overview of the project. And now I will turn the land acknowledgement over to Chloe Godin-Jacques, who is the lead researcher for the association.
Thank you, Rory. As Rory said, my name is Chloe. My pronoun are she, and I'm the lead researcher for NEADS. I currently reside on the traditional territory of the Andamantes and Nishinaabeg, Haudenosaunee, and Lenni-Lenape peoples to the territory of the Algonquin peoples will forever be my own, and where I first learned from indigenous communities. When I take a walk with my dog on country roads or spend time with my horses in the fields, I recognize my privilege to witness the beauty that is nature. When I retain knowledge in my own office, I acknowledge the coloniality that prevails in the queer methodology, where both my community-based research and doctoral research are located. As a community-based researcher and a doctoral student, I am continuously learning about the intersections that exist between disability and indigeneity, and ultimately how society further marginalizes these intersections. Through my work, I convinced myself to honor knowledge embedded in colonialism and recognize the systems of oppression that remain at the forefront of education. I strive to improve my own learning of the words that I readily benefit from.
Thank you so much, Chloe, for that beautiful land acknowledgement, and welcome everyone to our event today on the NEADS Financial Assistance Program. And also there will be a presentation on DisabilityAwards.ca, our financial aid portal. And I'm thrilled today to have with us in person, Katja Newman, who's the NEADS Financial Assistance Programs Director, and via video, Sarah Szumlanski, who's the NEADS Researcher, who has primary responsibilities for our websites, most particularly our financial aid portal, DisabilityAwards.ca. Just a little bit of background on both Katja and Sarah. Katja is the National Educational Association of Disabled Students Financial Assistance Program Director and co-manager of our Building Employment Pathways for People with Disabilities project. She is a resident of Nova Scotia. She is a recent graduate of the online Masters in Grant Writing and Program Evaluation program at Concordia University, Chicago. Prior to her master's, Katja received a Bachelor's of Social Work degree from Carleton University and a Child and Youth Work diploma from Georgian College. Sarah Szumlanski is a researcher for the National Educational Association of Disabled Students NEADS. She is currently finishing an undergraduate degree in applied linguistics and discourse studies at Carleton University with a minor in disability studies. Sarah was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome in her first semester of university, an event which significantly impacted her post-secondary experience. As a disabled, queer, neurodivergent woman, Sarah is passionate about topics of disability, accessibility, advocacy, and intersectionality, with a specific research interest in rare and invisible disabilities. I now turn the event over to Katja Newman.
Thank you for that introduction, Frank. If you can let me know, Chloe, when you're ready to go.
It's ready.
Okay. Are we on the title slide or on the first content slide?
I just contact slide. Do you want me to go back?
No, I just wanted to verify that I'm not starting off on the wrong slide, because that's sounds like something I would do. Yeah, so as Frank mentioned, I am the NEADS Financial Assistance Programs Director, and we thought it would be a good opportunity with our 2024 Financial Assistance Program launching recently, that it would be a good time to provide an opportunity for folks to learn a little bit more in depth about how the program works and all of its intricacies, in hopes of helping folks learn about its existence, as well as providing some support on how to submit an application. So I would like to start out today by providing a little bit of context. So the NEADS National Student Awards Program ran from 2007 to 2023, and it provided support with tuition fees. Some who are familiar with NEADS and our work might also recall or be aware that in 2020, in response to COVID-19, we launched the Accessibility Resilience Program, which provided grants of $1,000 or $5,000 to help offset the expenses incurred by disabled students resulting from the switch to online remote learning. So what we are, I guess, unveiling is that we will be launching a new and improved program, which we will now, going forward, refer to as the NEADS Financial Assistance Program. So this program will combine elements of the National Student Awards Program and the Accessibility Resilience Program. And you might ask yourself, why the change? The change is predominantly stemming from feedback from the NEADS community, which indicates that students need more broad financial assistance beyond the tuition support that was provided through our Student Awards Program. We go to the next slide, Chloe.
Okay.
So a little bit about the new financial assistance program. So applications will be accepted semesterly. This is a new and exciting update from the National Student Awards Program, which was on an annual cycle with about a 2 or 3 month application period, followed by about a 8-month wait for applications to be vetted for completeness and scored. We realized that that was a tremendous barrier for folks, the wait time. So that is a new, exciting feature that will be implemented here. So the winter 2024 application period opened back on January 4th, and applications will be accepted until Friday, February 16th at 5 p.m. Pacific. The two components of this new program will be grants of either $2,000 or $3,000 that will go towards offsetting costs such as tuition, assistive technology, ergonomic equipment, and a number of other categories that I will explain in a bit more depth a bit later on. And the second part of the program will be partner-funded scholarships. I guess we can go to the next slide, Chloe.
Okay.
So how it works. Applicants will have the option to apply for grants, partner-funded scholarships, or both. Each semester, there will be 54 grants available, and I will break those down shortly. And there will also be a variety of partner-funded scholarships available. By partner-funded scholarships, I'm referring to scholarships that have been available through the NEADS National Student Awards Program previously. So for example, the Canada Post Award, the Accessible Media Incorporated, Sir Robert Pearson Memorial Scholarships, and the Connor Clark and Lunn Financial Scholarship. Yeah, so those will be the options that will exist. We can go to the next slide, Chloe.
Okay.
A little bit more about how the program will work. The partner-funded scholarships will be available in certain semesters. There are no partner-funded scholarships in the winter 2024 semester. So those who are applying now will not see that option, but when there are partner-funded scholarships available, that part of the application will be visible. We can go to the next slide.
Okay.
So here we have a breakdown of the grants that will be available. So we have 14 $3,000 tuition grants, 5 grants of $2,000 that can be used for assistive technology items, 5 grants of $2,000 for computers and tablets, 5 grants of $2,000 for ergonomic equipment. So an example of that might be a sit-stand desk. 5 grants of $2,000 for rent or residence support. 5 grants of $2,000 for food security, which could either be groceries and or on-campus meal plans. 5 grants of $2,000 for mental health and wellness services. Some examples of those could be counseling and or massage. 5 grants of $2,000 for learning supports. So that could be psychological assessments, ADHD coaching, tutoring, etc. 5 grants of $2,000 for medical supplies is our last category, and that could be, for example, medications. We can go to the next slide.
Okay.
Here we have an overview of the partner-funded scholarships for those who might not be familiar. So we have our largest scholarship, which is the $10,000 Canada Post Award. We have 2 AMI, Accessible Media Incorporated, Sir Robert Pearson Memorial Scholarships, with one of those being awarded to an Anglophone student and the other to a Francophone student studying in Canada. We have the $5,000 Connor Clark and Lunn Financial Group Scholarship, which is given to a student who is in a 3 or more year business, economics, or science, technology, engineering, and or mathematics related degree. We also have a couple of $1,000 memorial awards. So the Holly Bartlett Memorial Scholarship and the Christine Neener Memorial Scholarship are in memory of two of NEADS's past board members. So those are also will also be available with the semesters that these awards will be distributed in, still to be determined. You can go to the next slide.
Okay.
Here we have our eligibility criteria. So in order to be able to apply to the NEADS Financial Assistance Program, students must be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, be living with a permanent disability, be currently enrolled in a post-secondary institution, still be enrolled in their program of study at the time when the scholarship or grant is awarded. And we can go to the next slide. And
Okay.
I will go into a little bit more detail about those criteria because I know folks are often quite curious. So for the purpose of these awards, a permanent disability is defined as a functional limitation that impacts one's ability to participate in post-secondary education. If you are a high school student who's interested in applying, once you have been accepted, you are eligible to submit an application. This is a question that we often get quite often as well. So full-time is defined as 40% of a course load as per the Canada Financial Assistance definition of full-time status for students with disabilities. Just as context for folks, the expected turnaround time is that funding will be received by the end of the semester in which the student applies. So for example, with our winter 2024 semester intake, applications close on February 16th, and the intention is to have funding awarded by mid to late April. And one last just additional comment that I wanted to make that is not on this slide, but we often get questions about citizenship as well as international students. So currently we will consider Canadian students who are studying outside of Canada. And then unfortunately, because of funding perimeters, we are not at this time able to accept international students studying within Canada. So I just wanted to provide that context as well. We can go to the next slide.
Okay.
A little bit about the components of the application process. So as was mentioned, applicants have the option to apply for grants, scholarships, or both. So in this next, I believe it's 2 slides, I'm just going to try and break that down in a succinct way. So all applicants will provide their contact info, their school and program info. You'll also answer some self-declaration questions about your just different components of how you identify, and that just helps us with reporting and is entirely anonymized. There's more details about that within the application process if you're curious. All applicants will also indicate whether they're interested in internship or employment opportunities with our partner, Canada Post. Checking that box will allow students to be considered for a variety of opportunities. One of which that I'd like to mention is our Building Employment Pathways program, which is another one of our projects where students are provided with access to a personalized career coaching. That will help support them to find and retain employment as a person with a disability. We can go to the next slide, I believe.
Okay.
So if folks are applying to grants, the application will incorporate completing a NEADS Financial Assistance Calculator, answering a question on quality of life. So basically explaining how the grant funding would positively impact your current experience and situation. And one thing that we are excited to be introducing this year is the ability to answer that question either in a written, audio, or video format. If you're applying to scholarships, there's a little bit more components, including some short essay questions on topics such as your self-advocacy, extracurricular activities, career and academic goals, and your knowledge of media accessibility best practices. There's also an academic good standing form that will need to be completed by either the applicant's high school or their post-secondary institution. That is a transferred component from the National Student Awards program. You'll also provide the name and contact info for an academic or community reference. And if you're applying to both grants and scholarships, all of those components would be required. You can go to the next slide.
Okay.
So I'd like to describe a little bit about the financial aid calculator because this is a new component of this program. So as was mentioned, this is required if applying to grants. You'll provide an estimate of your costs and savings for the current semester. You're able to use 2023 amounts to help you formulate your estimate if that is useful for you. So basically, the calculation that this calculator is conducting is total costs minus total savings. And that determines your level of financial need. So you will estimate your costs for tuition and textbooks, assistive technology, computers and tablets, ergonomic equipment, rent and or residence fees, groceries and meal plan fees, mental health and wellness services, learning supports, and medical supplies. And lastly, the amount of loans, federal, provincial, or territorial that you receive. And that number, once it's totaled up, so say from that number, we will then deduct your savings. So reporting on your savings looks like mentioning any scholarships and awards that you've received, describing how much employment income you might have, any parental assistance, as well as indicating any federal, provincial, and territorial grants that you might have received. We can go to the next slide.
Okay.
The selection criteria for our grants. Applicants will be selected on the basis of their response to the quality of life question and the extent of the impact that the funding would have on their situation. The extent of the applicant's financial need, which, as I just mentioned, is determined through the financial aid calculator, as well as equity, diversity, and inclusion considerations. So these grants and scholarships will be prioritized to disabled students who also identify as a part of other systemically disadvantaged communities. So that might not limited to, but might include folks from Indigenous communities, folks from the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, and visible minority groups. Efforts will also be made to distribute grants across fields of study, program types, as well as geographically. We can go to the next slide.
Okay.
For our partner-funded scholarships, selection criteria varies depending on this particular scholarship. So we have for the Canada Post Award, applicants are required to demonstrate a strong commitment to academia, research, and innovation. Applicants to the Canada Post Award are also required to demonstrate their level of community involvement, their leadership and their leadership ability and ability to advocate for self and others. For the Accessible Media Incorporated scholarships, folks are required to demonstrate their knowledge of media accessibility best practices. For the Connor, Clark, and Lunn Financial Group scholarship, applicants need to disclose that they are in a 3 or more year program in business, economics, science, technology, etc. And lastly, for the Christine Meter Memorial Scholarship, we'd be looking for folks who are in a graduate program of study. We can go to the next slide.
Okay.
This is my last slide. I apologize that you have heard me talk for so long, but I just wanted to end off by acknowledging that the newly launched Financial Assistance Program is made possible through an upward amendment from Employment and Social Development Canada's Supports for Student Learning Program. So this upward amendment will provide $488,000 of financial assistance in the way of grants. And those grants will support 216 students across Canada between now and March 2025. We'd also like to just acknowledge the providers of our partner-funded scholarships, so that being Canada Post, Accessible Media Incorporated, and Connor, Clark, and Lunn Financial Group. And that is all for me.
Okay, to do on to Lisa, or can I move on to Sarah's video?
I think you can go on to Sarah's video. Thanks, Chloe. And
Okay.
thank you. I just want to say thank you, Katja, for an excellent comprehensive presentation on the NEADS Student Financial Assistance Programs. It's very exciting for us to be offering this level of support to students with disabilities across the country, and we thank you for your leadership in directing the program.
Thank you for having me. And we will be having a question and answer period at the end, just to streamline things. But I guess I will acknowledge that this next component is researcher Sarah providing an overview of disability awards.
Okay, can you hear anything?
The audio is off right now, unfortunately.
What about now?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Szumlanski. I'm a researcher for NEADS, and I primarily today. For those of you who don't know, DisabilityAwards.ca is a financial aid portal that was created to help post-secondary students search through the potentially hundreds of scholarships available across Canada that are specifically available to students with disabilities. So I have our homepage up on the screen right now, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of a demo of our website. So at the top, we have a blue header. On the left of the header is our website logo, and on the right is three white buttons. The first is for the homepage that we're currently on. The second tab, the second white button will take you to the About Us page, which gives you an overview of NEADS as an organization and links to our other websites. And then the third is the Contact Us page, where you can find some information about contacting us, specifically regarding contacting us about this website. For example, if you have a question or if you know a scholarship that isn't listed on our website and would like to reach out to us so we can add it, you can find our contact information on that page. On our homepage is just some basic information about this website and how to use it. Including an update here about our winter 2024 financial assistance program being open for applications. And on the right side of the homepage, first is a search bar. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, you can just type it in there. If you want to find a specific scholarship quickly, you can type in the title to see if we have it on the website or if you already know we have it, etc. And below that is just some links to our social media. So you can quickly access our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, or our YouTube page. But what we're mostly interested in today is this yellow menu bar underneath the blue header. So there are 4 different main options on this menu bar. The first 2 allow you to search for scholarships, awards, or bursaries. I'm just going to use scholarships as an umbrella term for the various types of financial aid opportunities listed on the website. If you want to look for scholarships that fall under specific categories. So first, you can search by disability. So if you are looking for a scholarship specifically available to students who are blind or visually impaired, or who have physical disabilities, or who have speech or communication impairments, etc. You can have a look at these general categories we have to quickly find scholarships that are just available for students that have that type of disability. Or at the top, we have all disabilities. So if you click on that, you get a listing come up of all of the scholarships on our website that are available to students that have any disability. Just students with disabilities in general can apply to these scholarships as long as they fit the other criteria. Next, we have search by province, which similarly is you can look for scholarships available specifically in certain provinces or territories, or all provinces at the top takes you to a listing of scholarships that are available to students across Canada. There's no specific province or territory or region you have to either reside in or be going to school in to apply to these. The third tab is government funding. So under this menu bar, you have listings of the provinces and territories of Canada. So you can look at what the government funding for each province and territory is. And at the bottom is national, where you can find information on the national, federal government funding for students with disabilities. Fourth is a small menu of resources. So we have a COVID-19 guide that we have on our website available to download for students with disabilities. And we also have a link to a page where you can download the various state of the schools reports that we've done. It's a quarterly report that needs releases. So let's take a closer look at an example of what one of our scholarship pages looks like. I'm going to take you to one that is very detailed so you can get an idea of all the information that could potentially be on one of these pages. And then I'll really quickly show you what a shorter one might look like, because the amount of information on each scholarship can vary a little bit. Sometimes there's very specific information that can get very detailed, and other times it's a pretty simple, basic information for the criteria and how to apply. But before we get into that, at the top of each listing will be the title, which will be the name of the scholarship or award or bursary. And immediately under that will be an italicized sentence that kind of summarizes the key criteria that determines eligibility. So, for example, this first sentence tells you immediately that only students living with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis who are entering or currently attending a Canadian fit you, you know that you can just keep looking for something else. But if it does, you can keep reading for more information to see if you can apply and if you'd like to. Immediately under that quick summary is what arguably you potentially might want to know most, which is how much the scholarship is for, the amount, how many of them are available. Sometimes this might just say multiple or varies, because sometimes they can vary year to year, but it will indicate whether there's only one available or if there's multiple potential recipients. And then there's the deadline. And this will be as specific as possible. So if there's a specific time or time zone, it'll be included, but typically it's just a date. Underneath this basic information is a kind of introductory section. This is where we get the most variation in general. Might be information about the organization, the history of the scholarship, why it was named after a certain person or the purpose behind it, things like that. Below the introduction section is criteria. So here you will find a hopefully simple bullet point list of eligibility criteria. So it will tell you exactly what criteria you need to fit to be able to apply to the scholarship. It might also include exclusion criteria. So underneath the criteria that you must meet, it will also tell you if there are specific people who are ineligible. So for example, if you work for the organization or are a family member of someone who worked for the organization, or if you are a previous recipient, sometimes you might not be eligible to apply again. So that information will all be under this criteria section. After that is the how to apply section. So here you'll find information on the application process. So typically the first thing you'll find under this section is a link to either an application form that you can download and fill out or an online application form. And then often there might be a listing of any required supporting documents. So if you need to include a transcript or a letter of reference, if you have to answer certain questions on the application, things like that, we try and provide as much information in this section as possible in a quick and easy to digest format, so that you know exactly what you're getting into if you want to apply to it. So hopefully you don't forget anything and you're able to successfully apply. Sometimes there will be extra notes about the application process. If you have to mail your application in, the mailing information will be there, or if you have to email it, there will be information on where to email it to. Sometimes there's extra information on the selection process within this section. So if there's information about how you're chosen, if they're graded based on certain criteria, or if there's a specific selection committee, occasionally that information will be here as well. And sometimes the section ends with what happens after the application process. So sometimes recipients are awarded the scholarship at some sort of event, banquet. Sometimes your recipients do some sort of photo op with the organization. General information like that is occasionally included at the end of the section. And then at the end, we have contact information. So if you want more information about the specific scholarship listing, that contact information will be here. And then we end off with a See Also section. So here you'll find the sources where we got the information that's on the page so that you can go to the source content and look through it yourself. And then we have some links to similar content on our website. So if you want to see other scholarships that you might be eligible for based on the general criteria, you can quickly and easily find it. So for example, this scholarship is a national scholarship, excuse me. So there's a link for other national scholarships. This is a physical disability, so you can follow the link to other scholarships available to students with physical disabilities, etc. And the last thing on the page is a little last updated statement. So you can see when the page was last updated, because our website is continually being updated each year. So if, for example, we've just started 2024, so a lot of them might list 2023 deadlines. If you want to see if 2024 information is available, you can go to the links that we have provided in the sources to see if anything else has been provided since our webpage was updated. And again, we try and continually update these web pages when we can. So here's another example. We have the short one-sentence summary at the top. So this one is available to students with a disability that have at least one full semester left in their post-secondary education. We have how much the scholarship's for, how many are available, the deadline. And then this one provides some more information on the background of the scholarship because it's named after a certain person. This one has a very simple criteria section. So you just have to have a disability and you have to have at least one full semester left in your post-secondary education. The how to apply section is likewise fairly simple. We have the link to the scholarship application form where you can find it, and just a few bullet points about what you need to make sure you're including with your application, and then where to send the application to. And then we have the contact information and seat also. So we've got the source and other scholarships that fall under the same categories. And this one was just recently updated. So I hope this overview of our website has been helpful, and please feel free to reach out to us if you have any any questions about our website. We'd be happy to help. And again, if you know of any scholarships that aren't on our website, we'd be happy to add them. Thank you so much for watching this demonstration.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for that presentation, that video presentation. I'm wondering now, with the time that we have left, if there are any comments or questions from the participants here, either for Katja or for Sarah. And Sarah's not here in the room, so other members of the NEADS team can field questions on DisabilityAwards.ca as well. You can put your hand up, or you can send a comment in the chat. Okay, somebody has their hand up there. Who is that? That's Kayla.
Hi there. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you very much for the presentation. It's very well run and super informative. The question I have is just regarding the financial need calculator. I'm wondering if applicants will need to provide proof that they have already applied to their province's financial aid programs before being considered for the awards or not.
They will not. They will just have to disclose anything that has been received in terms of grants or loans.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. And thank you for that response, Katja. We have another person who is asking a question, has a comment. Who might that be? Or is that Kayla who still has her hand up? Any other comments or questions?
Hi there. I have one.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So my comment is I really appreciate the organization of the grants around disabilities or conditions. What I do welcome, if it's possible, my wish is that if they could also be organized in terms of timing. That is, those grants or awards for those people entering into post-secondary, those another category, those people that are in it, and maybe those like the one you just showed us who are exiting. That could be really helpful in sorting through all the information.
Yes, that's a great suggestion. I will definitely take that back. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for this. This is really lovely.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, and as it's 4:30 and we don't want to overwork our interpreters, captioner, our ASL and LSQ interpreter, and our simultaneous English-French interpreting team, I think what we'll do now is end the event. You can stop the recording, Alan. If anybody, we'll stay for another 5 minutes or so if anybody has